Oh, howdy all, grab yourselves a beer, it is time for some Path of Exile discussion. It's been another day of spoilers for the 3.12 Heist League patch, and today was a pretty quiet day being a Sunday, so all we've got is 4 of the alternate quality gems and a new divination card. So I want to quickly go through these. I did a whole video talking about stacking quality, and that I will link below. That particularly comes up with Kinetic Bolt, although there are some mechanical clarifications just getting worked out at the moment on this, and it may be that stacking quality on Kinetic Bolt may not be as powerful as I previously thought. But that said, all the other discussions about how you'd go about stacking quality, why you would do it, they will all still apply to other gems. So firstly, we've got Plaguebearer, and this gives you an alternate quality of increased movement speed while you are delivering the poison after you've charged it up. So Plaguebearer is a skill that has 2 modes. It's a toggle. When it's in mode A, you're charging it up. So that's the incubating stage, where some of your poison damage that you inflict is being stored. And then you go into the infecting stage, and at that point you start spreading that damage to nearby enemies as damage over time, as chaos damage over time. Plaguebearer is certainly a skill that has a use on a number of poison themed builds, where you would incubate it while fighting trash, and then you would infect while fighting a boss. The change here is that you gain movement speed whilst infecting. Now, this is potentially quite powerful, but 10% isn't a hell of a lot. I'm not sure whether I'd want to use this or not, but it's worthwhile keeping in mind that it exists. And of course, can you get any more 2020 than a Plaguebearer gem, really? Next up we have Shrapnel Ballista, which for every 10 quality it appears, you get +1 chain on it. That's really strong, and this is something that was coming up in discussion around quality stacking as well. In the video where I discuss Kinetic Bolt and quality stacking, we discuss ways that you can get the quality up into the 60s using things like the Enhance skill gem, stacking levels on Enhance, and using that to augment it. You can actually get quality as high as 88 on bows and on staves without even needing Synthesis implicits, just using things that are available in the core Path of Exile game. So things that you could source on a brand new account that was playing standard at the moment. So that's something to keep in mind there. Additional chains is a powerful effect, and this is one of those gems that may be worthwhile considering pushing beyond 20 quality via various means. However, I'm not familiar enough with Shrapnel Ballista to know if it's in a particularly good place at all at the moment. Other people that have played it say that it's a good boss killer and bad at damage projection, therefore bad at clearing, and so I'm inclined to believe that this may be what it needs, but we'll have to test it out. Herald of Purity's alt quality was revealed, and it is a chance to taunt on hit for the minions. This is deceptively powerful in my opinion. The reason for that is that when enemies are taunted by minions, that means that rather than an enemy attacking you, it wastes an action attacking your minions. However, this is really dangerous on bosses. A lot of bosses have telegraphed attacks, where a key part of fighting them is recognizing when they're aggroed on you and making some sort of wind-up so that you know, okay, at this point I need to not be within, say, a 30 degree frontal cone of where he's facing, and there I'm thinking of one of Azaro's main slams, or pretty much anything that's similar to the Sunder skill, and in that case you then reposition. The problem is, if the monster gets taunted just before its wind-up attack goes off, then suddenly, instead of targeting where you used to be standing, the boss in question might now be targeting a minion that is directly in line with you. And so as a result, I think this is quite dangerous. It's one of those things that will mostly be beneficial to you, and then once in a blue moon, it's going to cause you to get killed. So I'm not sure that I want to use this as much as it is an interesting, mechanically interesting thing. Next up is Kinetic Bolt, a whole video discussing it. Increases in reductions to cast speed applied to attack speed at 5 times quality % of their value. This is a very powerful line and is something that I thought we would want to try and scale the quality as high as you can possibly get. You can get the quality up into the 60s. In fact, I believe you can get it as high as 71% with only reasonable levels of investment. That's the Enhanced Support Gem and a 6 link where you are using up 2 mods on the 6 link, and you have a corruption that's relevant. So that's heavy investment, but it's not something that comes at a tremendous opportunity cost. And that's something that could conceivably be done in order to really ramp this up. However, Mark from GGG has alerted us to the fact that there's a counterintuitive way in which this mechanic works. Now, if a single effect grants both attack and cast speed at the same amount, such as Onslaught, then it will not be amplified. It will not be affected by this line because it's deemed already to apply to attack speed. So for that reason, it's only pure cast speed. I still believe that this will work beyond 20 quality, so at more than 100% value, but again, that hasn't been explicitly confirmed either. That said, Kinetic Bolt is one of the more interesting things that was revealed today, and I'm keen to see how it works. Kinetic Bolt needs the help. It's a pretty solid skill at the moment, but it's not amazing. This might be what it needs to become amazing, or alternately, there might be so many safeguards built in that it ends up that Kinetic Bolt is only raised to be a little bit closer in power level to the existing powerful wand skills like Power Siphon. Lastly, there's a divination card for a 2 implicit Krangled Thread of Hope. Thread of Hope is the Cirrus unique jewel, the one that causes a specific you to be able to connect disconnected passives on your tree as long as they're within a certain ring. Now, there are 4 different size rings, and so because this will be corrupted, you won't be able to hit it with a Divine Orb to change the size of the ring. So that's going to mean that with this divination card, you're going to be stuck with the ring size that you get. If you turn in a set of this and you get a small ring, prepare to be disappointed. However, there are builds that use all 3 other sizes, medium, large, and extra large. All of them are good. The other thing is you won't be able to change the resist number. So Thread of Hope has a drawback. Because it gives so much power, it also has a drawback, which is negative 10% to resist at perfectly divined, and negative 20% to resist if it is divined poorly. And here is the Thread of Hope. It is a very powerful effect, however. Thread of Hope is a very powerful jewel that's used in a lot of endgame builds, and having 2 Vaal implicits on it is really strong. We've got no idea where this will drop. I kind of expect that it will drop from some other endgame encounter, but given that it clearly has Zana as a theme, so this is obviously Zana and Cirrus. They were getting together before the disaster happened, when Cirrus killed the whole lot of them killed the Elder, and then at that point everything sort of went wrong. Cirrus was frozen into a time lock where, in just the space of a few minutes for everyone else, Cirrus experienced thousands and thousands of years. Hence his nihilistic mindset now, and this drove an enormous wedge between him and Zana because he thought that Zana abandoned him to rot for millennia, when actually Zana saw Cirrus disappear completely. So that was the storyline that you get when you read all of Cirrus's journals, and this probably means that it will be somewhere that it will drop from somewhere else that involves Zana and endgame bosses. Generally speaking, when there's a divination card for an endgame item, so an endgame boss drop, it tends to drop from another endgame boss. So for instance, the divination card for the Voidforge drops in the Harbinger beachhead map. The divination card for the Starforge drops from Abaxoth, the sort of end boss, if you like, of the Beyond content. And as a result, I don't know where this will be, but I'd be speculating it would be from the Shaper, the Elder, or the Uber Elder encounter, with the most likely one being either Shaper or Uber Elder. Anyway, that we'll have to wait and see. If you've got any comments or questions, fire away below. I will put a link to the video on quality stacking, but like I said, news is fast moving on that, and it's already possible that some of it is out of date.